Everybody knows that delegation is one of the essential management skills. It has always been a key to effectively leading and managing people. More can be achieved through the act of delegation than any one person can achieve alone. But delegation is not a skill that you automatically have built in you. It needs to be practiced and developed. And unfortunately, they don't teach it in school, and most people have not had any formal coaching or training on how to develop their delegation skills. If you're a business owner in retail, or if you're in a managerial role in retail, you're likely to have an overflowing to-do list. And delegation is a key to enabling your employees to do more, ultimately allowing you to achieve more and giving you your time back. By using delegation effectively, you'll be able to reallocate your tasks, reduce your own personal workload, and improve the productivity of the entire team. Additionally, you will have the benefit of helping develop the skills of your employees so that they can produce great work, and it acts as a great motivational tool. The time you gain through delegation can then be redirected into achieving higher priority tasks or higher impact tasks that will allow you to develop your business further and enhance your profitability. If you don't use delegation, you'll always be trapped in chasing a never-ending to-do list. Today we're going to cover what is delegation, the advantages and some of the potential disadvantages of delegation. We'll complete a small personal delegation assessment to let you know how you stand on using delegation and where a benchmark for improvement could be. We'll talk about the barriers and fears that people have to delegation. Importantly, we're going to cover the different steps that are needed to delegate effectively. We'll also delve into what you should delegate, what's appropriate, and what will help you most to reduce your to-do list. And we'll talk about the need for effective communication in delegation for it to be successful. So what exactly do we mean by delegation? In the business sense, delegation is defined as the shifting of authority and responsibility for particular tasks, functions, and decisions from one person to another, usually the business owner, leader, or manager, to the employees. Through the act of delegation, the manager is able to assign some of their own tasks to their employees, thus reducing their own personal workload. This frees up their time so that they can put their energies into achieving higher priority tasks. So if you run a retail business as a business owner or a manager in that environment, delegation is vital to keep the wheels moving and your operation running. Any one individual only has so much time and ability to achieve a finite amount of things, and delegation helps you be more productive and achieve more in a timely manner. In any managerial role, it will involve assigning tasks and telling people what to do. And you may be asking yourself, what is the difference between delegation and telling your employees to do something? When you allocate a task, you're merely instructing somebody to carry out a specific action. You tell them what to do, and they do it. It's that simple. On the other hand, delegation involves transferring some of your own workload to that person and giving them the direction and authority to complete it. It's not just a set of instructions. Most delegated tasks will involve some planning and effort to be able to be completed properly. There's also a fine line in a retail business between delegation and empowerment. And empowerment is when you allow the employees to act on their own behalf. But delegation, on the other hand, is when you are asking them to act on your behalf as their manager. Delegation does not look the same in every situation. And it's definitely not about dumping or abdicating your personal responsibility in your role. Delegation, when used correctly, is a well thought out skill. There are many factors that go into determining what to delegate, when it's appropriate to do so, to whom you should delegate to, and of course what level of direction and support is required to achieve success in the delegated tasks. Now we've defined what delegation is, let's talk about the many advantages it has and of course some of the potential disadvantages. Firstly, it will improve efficiency and productivity in the workplace, and it will give you time back. When you delegate to your employees, it frees up your time and gives you the ability to focus on higher priority tasks that can bring more benefits to your business. Additionally, because you create more time for yourself, this reduces pressure and stress. Secondly, it creates a support system within your business. Any business that is solely reliant on one person will have a serious struggle to operate and deliver long term. What happens if that person is sick for a day or for a week, or they want to go on vacation? Whether you're a business owner or a retail manager, if your team doesn't know how to do a significant part of your role, this places a lot of pressure on you. This means that work cannot progress without you and creates a high risk to business continuity. Every retail business needs to have a support system in place whereby many people can achieve many tasks and keep the operation running, with or without the manager being present. As well as creating a support system within your business, when you delegate to your employees, you are giving them the ability to learn and develop new skills for themselves. And successful delegation will engage the employees and motivate them. This will help improve employee performance. If you think back to the start of your career as you worked your way up through retail, the first time you were left in charge of a store or given responsibility that was above your job role, you feel empowered and it feels like a mini promotion. So not only does delegation free up your time and improve productivity, it can help your employees feel important and responsible for their own actions and responsibility. It's a great motivation tool. Another great thing about delegation is that it allows you to take advantage of different skill sets within your business. As talented, smart, and good at your job as you are, you may not be the best at everything. The beauty of diversity means that different people have different skill sets. You've hired your employees because they're talented and smart and good at their jobs. Otherwise, you wouldn't have hired them. When you're delegating, look at the different skill sets within your team and take advantage of those skills in the different areas. If somebody has particularly good creative skills, use them in your stock management and your visual displays. If somebody is particularly good with communication and customer service, use them as an ambassador for your business. If somebody's particularly well organized, use them in your administration controls. Use the skills that you have to hand wisely and reduce your workload at the same time. It's win-win. Another advantage is that it develops trust between you and your employees and helps improve communication. It encourages you to learn how to trust them more and to not always be in control. And once they have successfully completed a task, it will give you more trust about their future abilities and will encourage you to delegate further. Now, we've covered a lot of the advantages, but of course there can be some disadvantages. Sometimes you can have possible miscommunication about the expectation of the task, and when the expected results don't occur, it can lead to conflict or disappointment on both sides. Sometimes the manager who is delegating can underestimate the complexity of the task or project and fail to provide the right direction or support that's needed for success. Sometimes the results are just inferior because the delegated task might be above the skill level or experience of the individual. But on the whole, there are far more advantages to delegation than disadvantages. And by using delegation thoughtfully and effectively, it will help you achieve so much more in your retail business. Now it's time to ask yourself, are you any good at delegating or is there room for improvement? This quick self-assessment will allow you to evaluate how well you are using delegation in your current role and business and provide you with a benchmark for improvement. The first question to ask yourself is, do your team go home on time while you are regularly working late? When you're not delegating enough, you'll be overworked and you'll have a bad work-life balance. Now, working hard is seen as a virtue, and I'm not saying don't work hard, but delegation can help you work smarter and achieve more in less time. And who wouldn't want that? The second question to ask yourself is, do you have a backlog of tasks or projects that have not started because they're waiting for you to start them or for you to progress them? When you're not delegating enough, you can spend your time firefighting or on smaller tasks and don't make time to get to the more important tasks or projects. These higher priority tasks or high impact projects can then be pending for a long time and you're not capitalizing on their potential value. Third question, are you spending time doing things that your employees could do? You hired these employees to do their job so that you could do your job. You're actually costing your business money if you're doing things that you've paid employees to be able to do, because you're using a more expensive resource to achieve the tasks. This is closely aligned to, are you doing work that is below your job title? Most retail managers are trained from the retail shop floor and have practice at most of the low-level work before they became a retail manager or a business owner. And it's easy to get caught up in tasks that used to be your job role but are not currently part of your job role performance. Again, spending time doing things that are below your job level is costing your business money. You can have a lower paid employee achieve these tasks, and again, it allows you to put your time and resource into higher priority, higher impact tasks. And lastly, do you spend most of your time working on routine or repetitive tasks and not working on the important and high impact tasks? While many of these tasks need to be completed, they don't need to be completed by you. In a managerial role, your time needs to be spent on driving the business forward, moving the dials to enhance business performance, to bring more customers into your business, and to drive your profitability. By using delegation alongside prioritization, you can utilize your time better and free yourself up from these routine and repetitive tasks. If you've answered yes to any of these questions, there is officially room for improvement in your delegation skills. And you need to find a way to delegate more and delegate effectively in order to manage your own workload and priorities and help you achieve more within your role and within your retail business. Now, we've talked already about the advantages of delegation, but sometimes people have a fear of delegation, and there are many reasons why. Here are some of the common barriers. Sometimes people are afraid that the teams or individuals specifically won't be able to handle more responsibility. They can worry that the employees or individuals are already overworked and they can be reluctant to increase the burden. Sometimes people think it's simpler and quicker to do the tasks themselves. And of course, in many cases, this is actually true. The more experienced you are and the more times you have completed a task, the more efficiently you're likely to complete it. But that doesn't make it good use of your time. When you delegate and free up time, it allows you to put your energies into the higher priority tasks and to tasks that reap bigger rewards for your business. Sometimes it's a case that people just feel uncomfortable with the idea of letting go and not being fully in control. Another reason is that sometimes people fear that the act of delegation sends a message that they can't handle the workload. And sometimes people just fear delegation because they've been burned in the past. They've delegated something to somebody that wasn't successful. Regardless of the reasons for the fear, delegation is a key skill of any successful leader or business owner. Nobody is superhuman, and there's only a certain amount of time in each day to achieve a certain amount of tasks. Delegating allows you to accomplish more, to be more productive with your time, and to put your energies into the tasks that will reap the most amount of rewards for your business. So how can you ensure that you take advantage of delegation for you and your business, but also delegate effectively? Firstly, you need to know what to delegate. Not every task can be delegated, and understanding how much control you need to maintain over any situation will help you decide what you want to delegate and to whom you can delegate to. Not every task is eligible for delegation. Performance reviews, personal matters, or decisions and tasks that come with high financial risk are not really suitable for delegation. But there are many day-to-day activities, admin, staff scheduling, and routine tasks that you can delegate. The second step is to play to the individual's strengths. Every individual has different strengths and skills, so to ensure success, try and lean into individual strengths and abilities. Think about the willingness they have to learn and the different working styles and interests. Any individual will be able to carry out a task more effectively if they're both capable and interested in the task. Some people have more creative skills and you can use them in visual merchandising and stock management. Some people have strengths in financial acumen and can help with the business side of things. And some people have good computer literacy and may be faster and more effective at admin. Look at what you need to delegate and then play to the individual's strengths. The next important step is called tell and sell. After you've decided what you want to delegate and found the person you want to delegate to within your business, you still need to explain the task to them and to get them to take on this new responsibility and want to deliver it successfully. You can let them know why you've chosen them for the job, give them some support and direction, and provide motivation to achievement. So now you have what you want to delegate, you have who you're delegating it to, you've got the person on board. The next step is to define the desired outcome. You cannot just simply dump work onto somebody else's plate. This is not delegating. The tasks and projects that you delegate should come with proper context, detailed instructions, and if required for bigger pieces of work, supervision and support. There's a fine line between micromanagement and support in these cases. Telling them step by step how you would accomplish the task and then controlling each part of the process won't help free up your time, and it certainly won't help them develop new skills. Focus instead on what the desired end goal is, why the task is important, and help address any gaps between the outcome and their current skill set. Define what does good look like. And of course, make sure you set a timeline to things. And this is closely aligned with establishing a clear communication channel. While you do want to avoid micromanaging, you also want to establish a communication channel. This allows the person you're delegating to feel comfortable in asking questions and providing progress updates. To avoid micromanaging, you can set up project milestones so that you can check in on progress. And if the individual has trouble meeting the milestones, you'll still have time to course correct before the final date of the project. And of course, if required, provide the right resource and level of authority that's needed to be successful. This can be as simple as password access, financial data to do the right analysis, team resource, whatever's needed to be successful. For example, if you're asking somebody to put together a buying budget for your business for the next 6 months or for Christmas stock, they'll need access to historic sales, the detailed breakdown of best sellers and worst sellers, they need your inventory files. And lastly, allow for failure and be patient. As a retail manager or business owner, you're likely to have a lot more experience than somebody you're delegating to, and tasks may take you less time to complete. So if you're delegating to somebody with less experience to free up some time, be patient with their execution. And of course, give praise and credit when it's due. We touched briefly upon what's appropriate to delegate earlier, but let's delve further into the detail. If you're a retail manager or business owner and you're looking at your busy schedule and your lengthy to-do list and you're wondering how you can make a serious dent in it through the act of delegation, the best place to start with is repetitive tasks. Every retail business has numerous repetitive tasks, things that need to be done either daily, weekly, fortnightly or monthly. These could include things such as opening procedures, cash controls, banking and admin, or even placing orders for non-stock. These tasks are a great place to start with delegation, and you should always try and delegate these. They can free up a lot of time for you, and this time can then be spent on bigger priority tasks that will add more value to your retail business. You could direct it into sales and marketing or things that move the needle forward for your business. The added benefit of these repetitive tasks is that you can then train your team to be able to complete them effectively, so there's very little chance for failure on these tasks. A second area to look at for delegation of your to-do list are time-consuming tasks. These are things that take up time but have a short deadline. An example of this could be receiving a large delivery for Christmas stock, for example. This stock is going to add commercial value to your business. It needs to be received, processed and displayed as swiftly as possible. That doesn't mean that it's good use of your time. You could start the task with the team members and provide the direction for what you want to happen and then leave them to it. By stepping back and letting them continue, the task will still be completed, but you will have freed up a large chunk of your time. And this can be applied to anything that's time-consuming. Admin reports, audits. In most of these areas, it's sufficient for you to provide the direction of what needs to happen and then stand back and let somebody else achieve it. A third area to look at when you're trying to identify things for delegation are tasks that will develop the skills of people who work for you. Sometimes you just want to delegate to allow people to learn. It provides motivation to individuals and help build strength within your team. If you don't provide the opportunities for your team to learn, they never will. The fourth area I think you should look at when you're trying to identify things to delegate are things that other people can do better. Now, this is just common sense. You get the job completed to an improved standard on something you could deliver, and it frees up your time. So take a look at the people that you have working for you and the skill set that you have to hand. When I ran fashion brands such as Topshop and River Island as a store manager at the start of my career, I always used my team for VM and stock displays. I don't have a creative bone in my body. I can be commercial and critique at the end, but my time invested in these activities was minimal. Look at your overall skills and look at the strengths of the team within you, and if there's tasks that can be done better by somebody else, delegate them. Other tasks that are worth considering to delegate are interesting tasks. It helps provide motivation to your employees as well as freeing up your time. For example, if you want to complete a competitor analysis in the mall or high street that you operate in and see what's happening, you could send an employee out to gather the detail. You, of course, can set the parameters of what it is that you're looking for and then just review the detail. Your time invested is minimal. The task for an employee can be fun, going around having a look at other businesses and seeing what people are doing well or not so well. Of course, these are just examples. And of course, there's things that you shouldn't delegate. You'll need to take a look at tasks that have the potential for failure. You don't want to create more problems for your business further down the line. You'll also need to consider if things require a serious amount of input from you. They may genuinely be your strategy and your thought process, and if the time invested would supersede any time saved, it's not worth delegating these tasks. And of course, anything confidential or high risk shouldn't be delegated. Taking a moment on a regular basis, be it daily, weekly or monthly, to stand back and look at your task list and find the low-hanging fruit that you can delegate. Ask yourself, does this really need to be completed by me, or can somebody else do it? If the answer is yes, delegate it. Time is one of our most precious commodities, and any time saving that you can gather in your working life can be spent elsewhere. Let's move to communication in delegation. Communication, as always, is the key to success in most areas of life and in business, and of course this is true for delegation. In the delegation process, communication happens at every level, and it is a constant back and forth affair between you and your employees in the process of delegation. At the start of the process, as you sort through your tasks and try and establish which tasks you want to delegate, you will be communicating, talking and learning more about each task so you can understand the requirements of each to be able to effectively delegate. When you start the process of actually delegating, you will be delivering information, working through the details, establishing the goals with objectives, and setting out how they will be reached and clarifying any queries from the person you're delegating to. There'll also be communication in the support process and in receiving any progress reports. Communication is critical to successful delegation. And here are some things you need to consider to ensure that your communication is clear so that it can be successful. Firstly, plan any important communication. Think ahead about what you want to communicate. What information is needed to be understood and to be able to complete the task successfully? What information is already in hand? The person you're delegating to is unlikely to have the same level of exposure and information that you have. The more you plan ahead of time what is needed to be communicated, the easier the process of delegation will be. Secondly, make sure the necessary details are clear. How can you communicate the necessary information and the steps in the most concise way? How can you articulate the details? Assume nothing. Thirdly, think about the delivery of the information. What details need to be stressed? Is there a sense of urgency that needs to be expressed? Does motivation need to be provided for the individual? Is that how they like to receive information? And lastly, look at the communication through the eyes of the employee. Tailor your message to the individual. Some people like the detail in a methodical, slow way. Some people have a faster reaction to information and like this different style of delivery. You will know what you want and you'll know what you think, but will the person receiving the information understand? People don't know what they don't know, and you want to be sure that they fully understood the information that you're passing on to them. There is a finite amount of time in any given day, and there is a limit to the number of things that any one person can achieve, no matter how productive and successful they are. And delegation has the ability to effectively give you more time, and this allows you to spend the time doing the things that you want, be it add more value to your business, or just finish work on time. Most managers don't delegate enough or don't delegate effectively. People often feel that they're just too busy to delegate, but this is counterproductive. By spending a small amount of time reviewing your to-do list and actively delegating, you'll be ensuring that both you and everyone who works for you is operating at the highest level of productivity and efficiency. And you'll be able to achieve a lot more combined than you would ever be able to achieve alone. The purpose of delegation is to give you more time, to allow you to spend it doing the things that will add more value to your business and to your role as a retail manager. And we can't forget that communication is the critical foundation to effective delegation. The skill in delegation involves knowing what to delegate, being clever about who you delegate it to, and of course providing the right resource and direction to achieve success. And communication is the key tool to achieving this. Take some time to reflect how you're using delegation in your own role and in your own workplace. Is there room for improvement? And how much productivity could you gain by using delegation more effectively in the workplace?